Well, it's time to take the helm in the BMW i4 and off we go to Liverpool and Maxus. We get to see the MIFA 9. Well, now you know what the script is. Time to climb aboard the eDrive 40. And I'm sure this has everything we'll need for the adventure. The first dynamic electric BMW car. Fantastic looking car. Yeah, you're going to love or hate the grille. Thing is, we've all started to grow accustomed to it. To be honest, I like it. It's unique. And it puts a new spin on the kidney grille. Yeah, I'm in the minority, but I've always wanted funky, different looking cars. I suppose that's the reason I want an FSO, my granddad's. I like its quirky looks, especially in this Brooklyn grey. Yeah, it's not going to appeal to everybody, but I do like the oversized kidney grille. I think it suits it.
So the eDrive 40 is equipped with an 80 kilowatt hour battery. Believe it or not, that'll actually stretch to around 365 miles. Obviously not at top speed, say on the motorway. As you'd expect, the i4 has rather impressive EV architecture. It'll charge up to 190 kilowatt, and you can get 0 to 80% in around 34 minutes, and that's using a 205 kilowatt charging station. And when it comes to charging at home, say a 7.5 kilowatt wall box, you're talking 100% charge in around 13 hours. Now that doesn't sound too bad to me, especially with that decent range. And don't forget that you've got the BMW app, and there's a myriad of things that you can do in there. Preconditioning, check state of charge, etc, etc. The i4, as we've already recognised, is a rather intelligent car. So when it uses things like its recouping system, brake energy recovery, etc, it'll help to extend the range and reduce energy consumption to less than 16.5 kilowatt hour. And yeah, that's pretty damn impressive. Home charge. Just don't go there. We're talking 100 hours for 100%. Say you want 60 miles of range. We can get that on your wall box, 7.5 kilowatts, in around 2 hours. However, if you go to a CCS charger, so rapid, you're talking around 4 minutes. Battery warranty, 7 years. When it comes to the car's warranty, 3 years.
So we've got 79% of battery and 157 miles of range. I reckon that'll change when we get going, because I have been driving it in sport mode. Surprise, surprise. Oh, we've got the traffic announcements coming up, like RDS radios of old. So we've got 155 miles of range, which is 77% of battery. Do you know what the interesting thing about this is? It's due to its weight, which we expect with an electric car, but because it's rear-wheel drive like classic BMW, it feels like a real driver's car. And that's what they've aimed for, to make a dynamic, well, electric car. Because everything else they've put out has either been quirky or essentially an SUV. I mean, you have seen the hybrids and so on, but the fact that this is a completely new car, it's like a new era for BMW, if that makes sense.
It really does. It shows that they're expanding what their heritage has brought them to, but taking it into the future and just tweaking things.
That's a perfect way of putting it. I've also seen there's levels you can set in the infotainment for things like anticipation, which I assume means that it's going to do something with the acceleration. Steering. Superb, well balanced, great feedback, nice and direct, you know where you're at all times. Lovely and weighty. You can feel the rigidity through the chassis, but not to the point it's uncomfortable. You just know it can hold its own, even on track. You can feel the adaptive suspension. My word, it tailors the ride. It feels so sure-footed, especially with its weight. Saying that, it's not as heavy as some of its competitors, but that's because BMW have done some serious wizardry with this. Not a bad turning circle considering the size. When you come up to the 30 sign, because we've gone from the 60 to the 30, the car's recognised it and started to slowly dab off the acceleration. So when it comes to the regen in this, what it does is it detects cars in front, it detects bend, and well, it essentially drives for you. And that's without adaptive. Very similar to Audi's system. Fantastic car to drive. Look at the navigation in the cluster. Everything's nice and straightforward. The thing that is lacking is physical buttons. Okay, that's not strictly true. Like many of BMW, all your buttons are down here. And that's the thing about their audio systems. They may have removed it, decluttered it, but they've still got the functionality here, and that's what matters. So we're going to be going down to the start of the M57. Let's put it in sport. Well, did you hear that? It just like, it's readying itself. It's also amped up the sound in the cabin. Wow.
Wow, indeed.
Even when you back off, it goes like some kind of Tron car, isn't it?
Indeed.
Okay, back
We're
into
off
eco
grid.
so we can keep our range. We are. Now this is all singing and dancing, so when we look inside it, you'll be able to see lots of information on the economy. You can see all your safety, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. What we'll do is take a deeper look a bit further on the journey.
It's like the one in the iX, isn't it, Ben?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I noticed on the rear that the LEDs, the way they sweep round, very BMW i8. Proud of their I heritage,
Yeah.
you say?
Definitely.
Let's do around 70 miles an hour, so threshold about 72. 145 miles of range, 5 degrees Celsius and 74% battery. Okay. Let's see how much range it starts to use. Can't speak. Let's see how much range it starts to use. Hopefully it should start regenning. Also, if you look on the shifter, we've got a B. So that's your brake, but I can already feel it's detected the car in front and it's slowly scrubbing some of them. That's interesting. Now it's changed lanes, it's allowed it. Intelligent car, this. This is rather intuitive. What it does when you get to a certain speed or a certain mode or whatever, it will tell you what you're doing. So currently we're efficient coasting. If I put my foot down, there you go, changes. And now it's coasting again.
Very clever.
Yeah, it's super intelligent. It knows when to coast. And if I back off now, it doesn't just say efficient coasting at points. When it detects the vehicle in front, it will say charging battery. So it's a combination of efficient coasting and the vehicle in front. To make this super efficient, as it were, it will either say charging battery, or if it deems it better, it will do efficient coasting. Well, that was interesting. Just coming down University Hill, we've regen 3 miles. So that's very similar to the Audi system. If you remember, that got about 8 miles on a long, well, it was a long hill coming back from Goodwood, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So what are we at now?
Second, 153 miles. It's getting cleverer and cleverer. Now it's determined we're doing about 68 miles an hour. The range is climbing, and it's a fractional gradient if Annabelle turns now. Wow, 156.
Oh, wow.
I know. Yeah, so don't take the range on face value, because as it's got adaptive regen, it knows what it's doing. 157. Isn't that what we left with?
Yeah, 157 is what it was when we got in the car, yeah.
Yeah. That says something, doesn't it? That's it. A lot of these people say, no, it won't do the range. But what you can be sure of is it will do the range that's in the car when it displays.
Yeah.
Wow!
You don't see something like that every day, do you?
No, you don't. That's an import, isn't it?
One thing I have noticed is, unlike some other cars we've been in recently, with the weather being bad, this isn't misting up anywhere near as much, is it?
Not at all.
Well, yeah, pretty much not at all, actually.
Well, it is at the sides, but it isn't at the windscreen, so it makes you wonder if there's some kind of flow system put in place. But it's the best that we've had for, 6 months, especially in this weather. So, at about 161 miles of range now.
Oh, so we're still going up. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's, if anything, back there it was a slight incline, and it's a fractional decline here, so...
That's only going to add to it, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, it's 162 now. What we got in it was 157 miles. So it's gained 5, travelling at 67 miles an hour on the M6.
Sorcery, I tell you.
Yeah.
Sorcery.
Oh no, these systems are advancing at an alarming rate, aren't they? That's it, electric vehicles are getting better and better. Now, yeah, this will cost you around 60 grand, but it's worth it. It's a fantastic car. It's so balanced. And if you don't fancy rear-wheel drive, you could just go for the X-Drive with the M50. Now that's 550 horses, as I mentioned, not 1639 and about 800 Newton meters of torque, whereas I think this is closer to 550. So the range is going up, and look at that. Unlike a lot of electric cars that we've driven, this is efficient up to 70. Most of them drop off between 55 and 60. But this is still regaining. That's impressive.
What are we on now in terms of range?
165 miles.
Brilliant. In terms of distance, it should be around about 127, 129 miles. So that means 30 miles of distance covered.
There's a back off, you can feel it.
And it's actually gone up in range from 157 to 166.
It has. But look, the lovely 508. Fancy looking motor there. So I'm going to put it in sport. We're at 58 miles an hour. Let's see how long it takes to hit 70. 70.
So we hadn't even gotten anywhere near close to passing the van and we're already there.
Yes. And that used no range whatsoever. We're at 167 miles now. I'm not liking the salt on the roads.
There is quite a lot of it, isn't there?
It's all over the windscreen.
Winter conditions and all that. Well, that's it. There's still a weather warning in place for today and tomorrow, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Well, that's it. We're in March and it's getting worse rather than better. How's that work? Oh, we've dropped one. Sounds ramped up in the cabin a bit, but if I drop into this lane, instantly quietens down. Great visibility throughout. We've got blind spot detection, all manner of sensors. Also, the B pillar's really a blind spot. I can see through the back window, so I can do my lifesavers nice and safely. Back window's not too small either. The interesting thing about Eco Pro is you've still got power if you do so need it. If, say, there's a hazard or you need to get out of trouble quickly. So, I suppose at this point in time, I'd be travelling in Eco Pro. Seems to be the most efficient, which isn't surprising by its name. But Sport is definitely the most fun. Look at this powder blue Porsche. Ooh, look at that, Macan GTS.
You've got some lovely tactile materials here in the cabin. I like this one especially. You do have some hard plastics, but they're of good quality, and I do love this door card. It really does pop.
Also, as you mentioned, this is soft, isn't it, all the way?
Yeah. Lovely.
Now, if you know the M6, we've just climbed the hill at Tactile Chapter, going southbound, and we've just gained 2 miles.
So we've gone
And
up.
we left with 157. We've gone up 5. As opposed to using, we're adding.
We like.
Yeah. Oh my word, it's gone grey, Annabelle. Look at this.
It has, isn't it?
You see the wagon? It's allowing us to efficiently coast. It's also charging our battery. If I back off, so you get efficient coasting. You just need to take one look out of the windscreen and you can see it's wet, it's windy, it's blustery, and this just feels well planted.
It feels glued to the road at all times, really, doesn't it?
It does. Okay, let's try acceleration in Eco Pro mode. It's hardly slow. Rest assured that'll get you out of trouble, and that wasn't flawed. It's lovely to feel the power go down though. You can feel it like, I'm getting ready.
I love the colour-coded accents that you get in here as well. You've got the blue from, I'm pointing here, from BMW i. That accent is also shown in the shifter here. Because we've got M Sport, look at the seatbelt. Can you see that? You've got the M Sport colours here. Nice.
And that's the rears as well. We also get things like red calipers.
Beautiful.
And adaptive suspension, and yeah, well, the list goes on. You'll see all that in the review though.
Yes. But you're in this beautiful cabin, comfortable seats.
Yeah.
Electrically operated for both the front seats, climate control, seat heating, you name it. It's got all the bells and whistles. Especially for a long journey, you're just comfortable. Got no worries about range.
No, it's doing well.
We've got 25 miles to go till we reach our destination, and just over 8 miles before we take the next junction off to the M58.
And that'll take us right into Liverpool. So we're climbing a hill, and once again, we're gaining.
Now you can use the button here for climate control, or if you wanted to just demist your window, you can just press this button here. That takes you straight into the menu, but it also bops the fans up so it clears the windscreen. But it clears it really quickly, doesn't it, Ben?
Yeah, it does.
It's even cleared your side window, isn't it?
So that's what your heated seats are.
Good point.
Now, when Annabelle was using the fans and setting various settings, I did notice that the range has dropped to 147. Now, the likelihood is that will slowly go back up.
And one thing to note as well, if you have this on, even if you've turned all the fans down, it'll keep it on very low, and you turn it off here and the range will pop up. It was 140.
It went from 147 to 145, so it's 2 or 3 miles at the most, which isn't bad, considering some of the vehicles we've been in recently, they dropped, what, 35 miles?
Yeah. I reckon, as you said though, that now that the climate functions are off, it will start to come back up again.
Yeah.
In terms of range, not climate.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, down to 2 lanes, Annabelle. The electric car's saviour. The roadworks section at 50 miles an hour. Now, I'd expect this to become super efficient. Yeah, it's got up a mile already.
That's it, we've already been regaining miles on the range back after we put the fans on, haven't we?
Yeah.
We'd gone up to 152 and now we're already back up to 153.
Yeah. It's remarkable to watch.
Well, that's it. We've only used 4 miles of range at this point, whereas we've travelled
No,
what?
6. No?
4.
No, what did we leave at?
157.
Oh, yeah, you're right, yeah. I reckon we'll actually gain that back. Depends on if I can keep it, hold it down.
But it will be interesting to see how much that fluctuates and goes up and down during the road trip. But that's what these are all about, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, we're at 154 already. The thing is, I've not backed off either. I'm still accelerating, so the regen's going up, even though I'm accelerating. So it must be because I keep backing off periodically. Well, it corners well.
It does indeed.
It's glued to the road. Oh, you could have lots of fun in this. Now we're back up to 155.
First exit, please.
Okay. ID4. And it's snowing. Wow. Outside temperatures dropped to 3 degrees Celsius. Thank you, Mr. BMW.
Not pleasant, is it?
No. Thing is, we won't notice it in this.
No.
Sure footage is certainly the word. Wow, that's getting loud. Okay. It's quieting down in the cabin again, hasn't it?
It has indeed. You can hear it.
Oh,
but it's
car just pulled out there.
It's not overly much, is
detected
it?
it, didn't it?
It did indeed. Because you felt the car pull back a little then, didn't you?
You did.
In terms of, aha, I have noticed there is a car. Just having a pan around the cabin. I mean, look at this cockpit, really. That's what you've got. Because it's curved towards the driver. You've got navigation in the cluster as well as what you've got set up in the infotainment screen. Climate controls.
Now, if I go
Rotary
through it as
dials.
well, just have a look. So we've got adaptive cruise, road sign recognition, lots of safety. And is this it? This is it. Content heads up so I can edit. And if I move right, okay, that's the content. Oh, there we go. So if you scroll down, readouts. Oh, feel it steering. Lane. Keep assist. And there's your medium. Oh, Drake. And then you can do the heads up. So navigation and things appear in there too. Everything customizable. Not surprising for BMW. So you know what you're getting with one of these, whether it's a petrol or an electric. What we'll have to do is when we get into either a built-up area or country roads is try the B mode, because essentially that's one pedal driving, so it'll really enhance the regen. So I shouldn't need to brake. About 7 miles from our destination, and what I can gather from this is if you drive it efficiently, it will reward you.
We're nearly in Liverpool,
Yeah.
and we've got 4.5 miles to go to our destination.
Well, we've done 68 miles and we've got 150 miles of range.
So I've
Yeah.
used 7.
Granted, we're down to 50 miles an hour now, but we're getting off like in the next mile or so. It's remarkable. Sorry, that is just... You don't expect that, do you?
Not at all. No, it would be absolutely awesome if we got there and we were on 157 miles of range.
I know.
That would just be ace.
53% of battery. But that's what you need to remember. It will recoup when it can. It's like when we went down on one charge to Goodwood in the Q4 e-tron. There's no way you'd have thought you'd have got there. But you did. And what was that? 320 miles? Something like that?
I think a bit more, but yes.
Yeah.
Well over 300, yes.
Heading towards Fazakerley.
Yes.
Ooh, an S4. Listen to the rasp. It's so nimble, it's so agile. You can throw it around for fun, which says something for the weight of this car and the size of it. It's just, it's on the money.
Yes, Todd.
Fantastic driving experience. What we'll have to do, Annabelle, is check this out sometime. We've got a G bar, so you can see your max Gs. Currently 0.50.
Next left, please.
That's ridiculous. To change that.
Look,
Oh,
when you're
look.
indicating, it shows you on your infotainment screen.
Wow, I don't like these speed bumps.
No, they're not
I'm going
nice.
to put it in
are they?
B. Oh, felt the difference. If I back off now,
Go.
feel the difference.
Oh wow, so you're not even using the pedal there?
Not
did
at
it
all, there's
yourself?
no braking. No, it's one pedal driving. Well, don't buy a Lamborghini if you live around here. Or anything lowered for that matter. Okay, so come out of that. To knock it out of one pedal mode, you just push the shifter right. So left to engage, and then it goes into its efficient coasting mode. There's no paddles for the regen, it just does it adaptively, and then you put the B to override it, which is all you need. Road sign recognition's flashing because I exceeded 30 and went up to 31 for a second. Look at all the Maxus vans!
Oh.
Okay. This is head office for Maxus and the Harris Group.
Mither. That's high resolution.
Yes. Perfect. Well, we've certainly had the weather today, haven't we? Look what the Max G's been doing. It's like art.
So it's now turned to blizzardy sleet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see hailstones in that. Look at that. It was very painful walking through this, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's challenging filming the Meter 9 this as well. I'm just glad we're back in the car. 125 miles of range because we put the heaters on and the demister type things. The thing is, it doesn't seem to really be affecting it whilst driving, so that's good. Next destination, Mark II Golf. Well, the weather's getting worse.
It is, I
Not
think.
affecting this though, is it?
No.
Handling is still perfectly fine in snowy, sleety weather. Also, I've just noticed that the heads-up displays tell me what the speed limit is now and then what the subsequent one is. Wow, that's getting heavy. Now the temperature's dropped and we've got the heaters on. Yeah, the range has suffered a bit. We're now down to 106 miles. We have been booting it a little bit up until here. So the likelihood is when we start shutting things down, the range will start recovering. But it's to be expected when it gets cold, especially when you start using more and more power. But generally, it's pretty good. One thing I really love about this is a really small thing, but it's mega important. 9 times out of 10, you'll be looking and thinking, where's the auto setting for my wipers? Well, with this, you've got a light, so you know when it's engaged.
Well, that is a handy function, isn't it?
Oh wow. That's not a good day, is
Oh
it?
dear. Oh
Well,
dear.
yeah, at least I was going to say the cabin was intact.
Yeah. These things.
Wow, well, obviously the snow and the ice is taking its bloody prisoners today, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly taking its toll. Mind you, it's a yellow weather warning for snow and ice.
It is. But this, it feels glued to the road, doesn't it?
Very well planted.
It's
Feels
not been-
safe. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Even in the snowy icy, I've not felt any slippage whatsoever.
No.
It's not wheel spun. It puts its power down efficiently. It doesn't just, you know, unleash, which is good. Now I'm in B mode on these country lanes, and everything's settled down with the heating and air conditioning. We seem to be bobbing around 98 to 100 miles. Because bends like this, it's perfect for the one pedal mode. Okay, so we're nearly at our destination, about 7 or 8 miles. And we had 98 miles before, now we've got 103. The combination of efficient coasting and using the one pedal driving has massively economised it. And the bottom line is we're travelling at around 40 to 45 miles an hour, and that makes a world of difference in electric cars. It's just going up now. Banging tunes, decent bass. Whether it's motorway, A roads, B roads, or trails, it seems to be efficient across the board. I mean, it used to always be called the ultimate driving machine. And to be honest, for an electric car, this is, whoa, engaging.
Yeah, we kind of took off a bit there, didn't we?
It did. It
Mind
wasn't
you,
my driving, that was the road.
Yeah.
Let's call it mining subsidence.
the thing is, it's M Sport as well, isn't it? So it's going to have that edge.
Yeah, well, it's fast. I mean, it's not the biggest powertrain that they do, is it? I mean, the M50's ridiculous on paper.
Yes.
But this, because it's an electric car, the acceleration through the rev range is unbelievable, because essentially there isn't one. It just,
It just goes,
I mean, you
keeps
put
going.
your foot down.
Yeah.
If I do this now, you will watch Annabelle's camera just tilt. It's just there, instant power. But that's the beauty of an electric car. And the thing is, me driving like this, I've still only used, I think it's 2 miles. In 2 miles. No, it's very good. Considering it's their first dynamic electric car, you know, on a completely new platform. It's
ticking a lot of boxes, isn't it, really?
It's remarkably good. Especially with this heads-up display. It just means that I don't have to keep looking at the cluster. Just watching the G bar there, great fun. You see when we've done this and done that, etc, etc. No, it's all singing and dancing, and well worth the money. Well, there's a massively rare motor, the Volkswagen Phaeton. Smallest engine they did as well, a V6 TDI 3 litre. Biggest being a W12. Well, she's been sat out a while, so we need to come back and collect. We'll be home soon. Thing is, fully solid throughout chassis now. Goodbye, old girl. We'll see you soon. Because let's face it, the way we're moving with electric cars, you're going to be going on holidays.
Yeah.
Because right at the beginning, that's not what the plan was. I think they said if you had an electric car, then you could borrow a diesel or a petrol to do a long haul. Whereas if you drive this efficiently, it'll do a lot more than you expect. It's turned again.
Yes.
We've had every weather condition possible today. The BM for its paces. I've just been informed that it's dropped to 2.5 degrees Celsius as well. Doesn't seem to have affected range, which is good. Now, when it comes to electric cars, you don't really think about going on adventures. Yeah, we're the complete opposite. We do as many road trips as possible. The way it's performing, the likelihood is if you're doing 75, 80 miles an hour, it's not going to start really caning the range. So it'll still remain relatively efficient. I just got off the motorway at Carnforth with 44 miles of range. And we've got 42 and we've done about 5 miles. So, Annabelle, let's work out how many miles we did. So was it about 140 to Maxis and then through to Tarleton?
Yeah. Maybe 150 all told. Yeah.
Okay, so 150. So by that logic, we left with 157 miles of range, didn't we?
Yes.
So you would think we'd have around 7 left.
Yeah, we haven't. We got more.
We've got 42.
Wow, brilliant.
And I've been driving considerably faster. And testing acceleration, etc. on the way home. So that, well, shows you it's advancing, doesn't it, the electric technology.
It's come on in leaps and bounds, thank goodness.
This has just been the road trip. So if you want to see the full review, click here. There's one heck of a view. It's only at certain times of the year, isn't it, Annabelle, the light?
Yeah.
I like that. That is excellent. As you can see, the red flashing just alerts cars or people. Wow. 39 miles of range and 17% of battery left. 1.5 degrees. So it is reflecting in the range now because it has got a little colder. That's always going to be the case. It's nice and toasty and warm in here, isn't it?
It is, it's lovely.
As I say, it's some rather nice blue mood lighting.
I'll be sad to see this go. It's been a lovely driving experience. Thank you, BMW.
Bye-bye I4. It's been a pleasure.